Good morning. I am Gwendolyn Smith, your host practitioner for today, and it is a pleasure to welcome you to our Sunday morning at the Center for Spiritual Living. Well, another day in paradise, right? I would like to welcome those who are watching online and invite you to come and join us in person here in Nashville. We're excited today because our speaker is Reverend Denise Jurgen. Reverend D. Speaking on taking it to the streets. And our musical guest today is Lisa Firestone. Oh, so much talent here today. And so, who are we? We are an inclusive, open, spiritual community for anyone seeking a deeper connection with God. And if you've never been to our Center for Spiritual Living before, we believe that there is one God, many paths to that God, and we are here to love, honor, and support you, whatever your divine path is. This Center for Spiritual Living is a community for people of all beliefs and lifestyles. Wherever you are, you may find yourself on the journey of faith, and you are welcome here. So, welcome to our center. Let us begin. Now, we close our eyes. Take a deep breath. Turn within and know with me there is one God, which is the love surrounding us right now and always. The creative mind that created all things, from the smallest creature to the grandest, from the nearest star to the most distant, is still creating in our lives, each and every one of us, right here and right now. We breathe that in and feel that connection this morning. It is the golden thread of truth that moves through all faiths and all spiritual paths. We bless them all. I am so grateful this morning, for I know that in this CSLN family, we open our hearts and minds to know that Spirit moves in through us and as each of us. I am so grateful. And I bless our speaker today, Reverend D, for her wisdom and insight. So we are empowered to know where our paths lead us from here forward. And so it is. Now, for our wonderful musical director, Larry Faragalli.
flesh and steal our wood, drying in the color of the evening sun. Tomorrow's rain will wash the pain away, but something in our minds will always stay. This final act was meant to raise a lifetime's argument. Nothing comes from violence, and nothing ever would. To all those born beneath that angry star, lest we forget how fragile we are. Like tears from a star, like tears from a star. On and on the rain will say how fragile we are, how fragile we are. Larry Fergelli. On and on the rain will fall like tears from a star, like tears from a star. On and on the rain will say how fragile we are, how fragile we are, how fragile we are, how fragile we are.
It's Lisa Firestone.
Larry Fergelli. Thank you. And Jimmy.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Reverend Laura Landris, and today I am reading from The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, Chapter 8, The Power of Thought, the section, It is Done Unto Us. What a marvelous thought to bear in mind, that it is done unto us. We need not coerce. We do not create the power, but we must let this great power of God operate through us. The mind of God is acted upon by our thought, and in this way, thought becomes the law of our lives. We do not create. We use the power of the one mind, or God, which creates for us. Law of life is a law of thought, an activity of consciousness. The power flows through us. The Spirit of God can do for us only what it can do through us. Unless we are able to provide the consciousness, it cannot make the gift. The power behind all things is without limit, but in working for us, it must work through us. Realizing then that while the power of God is limitless, it must become operative through our own thought. We shall see that what we need is not some greater power, but a greater consciousness, a deeper realization of life, a more sublime concept of being, a more intimate concept of an already indwelling God who is personal to us by virtue of being personified through us. Now, I invite you to know this spiritual mind treatment in the first person for yourself or someone you care about. I invite you to close your eyes. I know there is one loving, eternal, universal mind of God. This universal mind of God is the life and center of my being. I am one with universal, infinite mind. I call upon the creative intelligence and power within me to come forth and express peace and gentleness through me. Confidence and peace is within me, and I am healthy, strong, and prosperous. I live in harmony and bring forth peace and gentleness to my world and to everyone I encounter, because I know all is well and all is good. No matter what I encounter, I experience peace. I give great thanks for this knowing. I give great thanks for the loving spirit of God within me. I release my word, knowing it is true right now, and together, and so it is.
Just like to say a brief word about this next song. This is a personal song that I wrote with Janice Stanfield that helped carry me through some difficult times and finding access to my own heart and access to this beautiful Creator. This is called Unafraid. We may have some lyrics for you, we'll see. I'm unafraid to live, I'm unafraid to die, to love with all my heart, even when it makes me cry. I'm learning to surrender what I cannot change, so I can face each new day unafraid. I'm unafraid of truth, it leads to understanding. I'm unafraid of sorrow, it keeps my heart expanding. My life's a patchwork quilt of all the memories made, and wrapped inside it I feel unafraid. Unafraid when I live from love, I'm unafraid when I give from love, unafraid and it fills my cup when I live from love, unafraid when I live from love, unafraid when I give from love, unafraid and it fills my cup when I live from love. I'm unafraid of truth, it leads to understanding, and I'm unafraid of sorrow, it keeps my heart expanding. My life's a patchwork quilt of all the memories made, and wrapped inside it I feel unafraid. trust what our heart tells us or what other people say. But our regret catches up to us one day. 'Cause every risk I took and every price I paid was a step to where I'm standing, unafraid. Oh, unafraid. Unafraid when I live from love. I'm unafraid when I give from love. Unafraid and it fills my cup when I live from love. Unafraid when I live from love. I'm unafraid when I give from love. Unafraid and it fills my cup when I live from love. 'Cause God knows I've surrendered and heaven knows I've prayed. So I'll go where I'm going, unafraid. Ooh. I'm unafraid, I'm unafraid.
Lisa Firestone.
Thank you. Thank you, Lori.
Wow. I just want to say thank you to all the people who've been up here before me because you set the stage so beautifully for me to speak today. And you have no idea how wonderful that is, going to be up here and talk and have all of that energy that's already been here. And so what I heard was, I'm unafraid of truth because it leads me to understanding. Wow. Now, I also heard, it is done unto us. Does that give anybody a little pause to go, what does that really mean? Anybody ever had something done unto them that they didn't enjoy? Done unto us. But then there's another little thing, it's done unto us as we believe, right? So then I have to look at my own consciousness and go, oh, I felt like it was done unto me, but what was I believing in the moment when it was done unto me? Huh. All of that. And we need a greater consciousness. Thank you for saying that this morning, reading Ernest's words. That's the whole thing. I could sit down and go, we need a greater consciousness. We're done. Okay. Because that's the deal. That's the whole deal. And that's why, if you remember last week, I said, you got it going on. Remember, look at somebody and say, you got it going on. Remember that? Because there is a greater consciousness beginning to blossom in this group of people. Can you feel it? Have you begun to feel it? And so we've been talking about giant gentleness for the whole month. And last week I talked a little bit about what it would be to be cosmically gentle. If you remember that. We talked about dealing with our own feelings and our own emotions, not just our thoughts, but our feelings and emotions that are up underneath those. And how that energy of our emotions begins to create. And so I'm going to show you something that I created. I could have asked them to throw it up on the slide, but I decided to create it in the way that I create it for children, because I think we're all children at heart, right? On some level. This is what used to hang in my office as a counselor. Ta-da! And again, I would ask people, so how are you feeling today? And if you want it, when service is over, you can come up and get a picture of this if you would like it, or you can Google Esther Hicks emotional chart, and you've got 500 different ideas of how that could look. This is just how it looked in my office. And I would have a child come and say, I'm really angry. I'm angry today. And remember what I would say to them? What would you like to feel? They go, I want to be happy. You see how far that is up there? They didn't care. They didn't go, I think I just want to be discouraged today, that I'm unhappy, and maybe eventually in my life when I'm about 30 years old, maybe. They never said that. They just said, I want to be happy. Does anybody remember what the next thing was I asked them? What would you have to think right now to be happy? So I want you to talk to someone. I love to do that. Talk to someone sitting beside you. I hope you sat by someone you like, remember? That's always a codicil. And ask each other the question, what do I think that makes me happy? Go. So did you begin to feel the energy in the room even shift even higher? Does anybody know why that is? Because you're talking about happiness. Wow! So why do we talk about all the other stuff? Well, we talk about the other stuff to heal. We talk about the other stuff to get clear on what the other stuff is. But eventually, if I want to be happy, I'm going to have to start thinking and talking about happy things. That's just the way it works. That's the way our system is made. And when we don't do that, then we walk around like Eeyores. Anybody ever seen an Eeyore? I'm just miserable. Maybe someday somebody will do something nice for me and I'll be happy, right? Some of our clients, Gregory, probably. Right? And so I'm going to tell you something. I yesterday was here all day long in a workshop that I snuck into because it was for Unity leaders. Now I am a retired Unity minister. Of course, the man that was presenting, when I introduced myself, he said, well, you're not a retired minister, you just retired from Unity, right? And I was like, that's an interesting perspective. So I was been trying to wrap my mind around what that really meant. Like, should I be offended? No. Because I'm going to be teaching this tomorrow and I don't need to be offended, so okay. It's like, okay, interesting. Because, we all have different perspectives, don't we? About what's going on, why people are showing up the way they're showing up. But one of the things he reminded me of was Simon Sinek. Anybody know about the golden circle thing? And the Golden Circle says that you can't understand who you are, what's going on, until you understand a very, very important thing. And the very, very important thing is, why am I here? Why am I here? Not what I'm going to do, not how I'm going to do it, but why am I here? I did that work years and years ago and had forgotten about it. And all of a sudden it all came flooding back, and I thought, I need to share this, because the why I am here is because I am an expression of love and joy and peace. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. Always. Every day, all day long, until... And so if I understand why I'm here, then all I have to do is go, honey, you're not showing up that way. And I tune into the radio station of love and joy and peace. Do you know how I do that? Think of what? Think a thought of love, think a thought of joy, think a thought of peace. I can promise you my 4- and 5-year-old grandchildren will bring that every time. If I just look at a picture of them, I go, oh, okay, I can do that. I can think of love and joy and peace. But then it's like, okay, why am I here? Well, how does that say something about the way I live? So I had to look at that process and go, okay, I live in a way that I draw people to me that want to express those things, that want to have love and joy and peace in their lives, okay? Now that sounds lovely, doesn't it? But have you ever had to deal with somebody wanting you to be love and joy and peace in their life because they were not? Yeah. So it's like, okay, do I need to get clearer about what that means for me? I'm love and joy and peace, and I'm saying I'm here to give people the experience of love and joy and peace, or that they want love and joy and peace, so that means they might not have it. Do I want to fill up my life with people that don't have love and joy and peace? Rosemary and I were eating lunch together on Friday, and we had a delightful time. And one of the things she said to me is, I want love in my life, and so therefore, if I'm in a situation and I don't feel it, I know it's not my situation anymore. Interesting. I'm just throwing that out there because we're about raising our consciousness. Because I see some of you going, and some of you are going. I will tell you another thing I learned from Shad Groverland, who is the CEO of Unity Association, is that we're all looking through a little, like a wall. And I have my little pinhole of perception of what I see in the world, and Larry has his, and Lisa has hers, and Gregory has his. And if you listen to each of us, you would get a different perspective of what's going on even in here right now. So which one of us is right? That's building a higher consciousness. You may get where I'm going. And so working with the Golden Circle, I eventually had to say, who am I? Not why I'm here, not how it is that I'm going to be that, but who am I? And this came to me years and years ago when I was in a workshop doing this process, and in flowed, I am a spiritual midwife. And I went, what does that mean? But I wrote it down on a piece of paper because I thought, well, this is important. I need to know this. Somehow or other, I'm going to need to know this sometime or other. Does that mean I have to birth babies? I don't know that I really want to do that. But what does that really mean? And when that piece came through, it got me a little bit clearer on how to show up. Because if people come to me and they're wanting to create love and joy and peace in their life, then I help them birth it. Right? So, how do you do that? Well, I gave you these 4 things 2 or 3 talks ago, but I'm going to remind you of them. First thing you have to do is show up. If I say I'm here about something, then I got to show up, right? I got to show up. I've got to show up here. I've got to show up in my family. I've got to show up with my friends. I've got to show up out in the parking lot. I've got to show up at Walmart. That can be real challenging at times for me. There's lots of places that I have to show up. But not just show up. Notice what I'm noticing. Just notice it. Don't make it right or wrong. Just notice it. You know, I noticed at some point in time the other day that I was in a Zoom call. Fancy that, a Zoom call. Larry and I just love Zoom calls, don't we? It's like, oh, Lord. It's like Hollywood Squares. I think, Dale, that was what you told me one day. It feels like Hollywood Squares, and there's all these people. And it's interesting how some people really talk. And I usually just sit there and go, do you know how much you can learn about people just by listening? Did you hear her say that in her reading this morning? Listening. So notice what you're noticing about your own energy, and when I have a negative reaction, it's just my soul calling me up higher. Can you hear that? But sometimes when I have a negative reaction, I want to make you wrong because you're not looking through the same knot hole in the fence that I am. So I have a negative reaction. So what happens if I have a negative reaction? What happens if we have a negative reaction in here today? And you might. Remember, I'm here to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. So I don't know which side of that coin you're on right now. But one of them. So what happens when I think that person is wrong? How do I share my truth in a kind way? Have we learned? Have we learned to be gentle in sharing our truth? So the second thing, other than just showing up, is to pay attention. Pay attention to where you are in your process. Pay attention to what's going on inside you. And know that even if you have a map, it's not the territory. It's just a map. How many of you have ever followed a map to get somewhere and you go, where in the world is that? I don't see that. I pull over to the side and go, what is that? Or my GPS says, you are here. I'm like, I sure hope not. Judy and I went to the Grand Canyon one time and followed our GPS into the Grand Canyon, and when it said, you are arriving, there was a cactus and a stone. And I said, so this is where we're spending the night? I'm not impressed if this is where you have us spending the night. It's like, okay. But it's like, what do I do when the map isn't exactly right? I'll give you a for instance. Anybody ever worked with the grief cycle? It's not linear. Have you realized that? You know, the first time I ever had somebody show me that, it's like, here's what's going to happen when you're going through grieving, and you're going to be angry, and you're going to do all this stuff. And I was like, well, my map looks like this. That looks really nice. That's not the way life is it, Gregory? When I think about the steps that you share with us all the time, the Michael Beckwith steps, you know, I find myself sometimes in the through me, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm back in the to me place. Because somebody said, you're not really retired, you're just retired from unity. Right? It's like, what does that really mean? Do I need to stand up and go, hello, who are you? No. I just went, I have no idea what kind of knothole he's looking through, right? But not the same one that I'm looking through. So we show up, we pay attention, and the third one is we tell the truth. To everyone about everything. Anybody sphinctering up out there right now? To everyone about everything, because I also want them to tell me the truth about everything, even when it's hard to hear. Somebody's not breathing. I have that situation with my mother right now. And her telling me her truth is not always easy to listen to. She has really bad dementia. She has a belief that I am the one that allowed my father to die because I moved him into, yes, I giggle when that happens too, because that's the way I deal with stress sometimes is I giggle. But it's like, okay, because I was the one that had to move him to hospice. Yeah. So when she sees me enter her house, she is not a happy camper. She doesn't want me there. And so I allow her to tell me her truth. And then I attempt to tell her some of mine. But the only truth I really can tell her is, I love you. I love you. I am so very sorry that you perceive this in this way, but I want you to know that I love you. And I know that there's a way for this to heal. What I also have to say to myself is that may not happen as long as she's in her body. Anybody ever been in that kind of a situation? Where you knew that you could say some of your truth and someone could say some of their truth to you, but maybe it's not ever going to all clear up until someone is no longer in the body? Telling the truth is important. Telling the truth first to yourself is important. I don't know about you, but I lived years without telling the truth to myself. I thought if I didn't pay attention to it, maybe it would go away. Anybody ever thought that? If I don't deal with this anger, maybe it'll just dissipate. No, it started squirting out in weird places at weird people and strange times that I was like, what is this? So show up, pay attention, tell the truth. Before I go to the last one, I want to remind you that if what I'm doing in my life is not working, doing it harder and longer and louder and more aggressive is not going to make it work any better. You ever been in one of those kind of meetings? Somebody just kept on and on and on and on and on. And that's when I wish I could be back with children, because all I would do with children is shh, 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 shh. Adults don't like that too much. Shh, 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 shh. Shh, shh, shh. But you can say that to a child, shh, and they're like, what is it about us adults that we don't get the fact that we have just gone on and on and on and on and on and on? And after a while, do you know what happens? People tune you out. Do you realize that? You do realize that, don't you? It's like, okay. So, the last one is hard. Don't get attached to the outcome. But I am. But I want it to work out the way I want it to work out. Anybody in here still wondering about the building? I'm still wondering about the building. We don't know anything yet about the building. Doesn't that make you want to go, breathe? What is our teaching? We believe highest and best is always happening for us, right? Except when it's what we want. right? And when it's what we want, then we're determined that if I talk louder and if I talk to the right person and if I go into somebody's office and if I say rah, 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 that it's going to change, right? Gregory, you're just laughing because you know. I mean, it doesn't work. Because there's something greater going on that we may know nothing about. And what I can say in this moment, we may get the building, we may not get the building, but we know that something greater is going to happen. We just don't know what it is. And that's an uncomfortable place to be in. Have you ever been in that place in your life when you know something good is coming? Can I trust that? Can I trust that? So in a moment, I'm going to call up somebody to share something with you, but I want to talk to you about Lincoln Logs first. You're like, what in the world? Because everything I've been talking about, I could say that's about me or that's about us in this spiritual community together. How many of you grew up building things with Lincoln Logs? Anybody? Mm-hmm. Lots of you. And it was exciting. But there was only certain ways that you could put it together because of the notches and the things, and you had to build this certain kind of thing, right? That's what church has been for years. Okay? Some people have churches, some people have spiritual communities. I'm not sure that everybody here really knows what they call this. I think that's one of the things we had to figure out. What is this? What is this we're doing? Why are we showing up? So then a little bit later when I raised my boys, there were Legos. Lord mercy, that was so much more exciting than Lincoln Logs. Because they could build all kinds of things, and we would go to the store and look for different boxes that you could build a spaceship or something. How exciting. And I have a very dear friend of mine whose husband just built the Titanic. And it's beautiful. Out of Legos. Who knew? But the thing I want to share with you that my grandchildren have now are MAGA blocks. They are magnetic. Probably something that I don't want to know anything about, right? They are magnetic. They're like what I'm talking about, the lodestone of love that can flow through here and connect us all. Those MAGA blocks, it doesn't matter how you put them together, they just go together. So yes, sometimes you can create this little thing that looks like a garage, and sometimes you can have the roof up here, and my 4-year-old granddaughter will go, I want the roof to hang out over here on the side. I'm like, cool. Because it doesn't matter. Because they're magnetic. Do you realize that that's what you have going on here? There is not a certain way we have to do church or spiritual community, or whether we have a minister or don't have a minister or whatever is going on, you're showing up for a reason. Why? Why are you here? Why is CSLN here? How is it that we're going to be in the community once we figure out why we're here? Right? Because if I don't know why I'm here, you know, I would come here just to hear Larry play the guitar like that on Sunday morning again. Larry, that was amazing. Wow. Give him a hand. That was amazing. But it's like, why are we here? And when we decide why we're here, then we can figure out how we're going to do that together. Because, you know, I know that I might see it one way and Meredith might see it another way and Marla might see it another way and Gregory might see it another way, and it's all okay. But we have to learn to listen. And so I'm going to invite Lisa Firestone up here in just a second. She's going to make her way to the podium, because she's going to talk about a process that she's going to help take us through for us to actually learn how to listen better. And I'm going to invite you to listen to what she has to say and then to say, I want to be a part of one of those sessions. Lisa.
Thank you, Reverend Denise. Thank you. It is such a privilege to be able to share this with you. So let me just start by saying I know a lot of you know me as the musician, the singer-songwriter, or the band, and other people know as that girl who came through a pretty serious, crazy health illness, health challenge a couple years ago. And I want to share this with you because I've had a lot of time in the last few years to really devote to my healing and to what matters. And that led me to become a certified and accredited life coach with a focus on communication and what it means to communicate from the heart. And I love this work. I've found in my study of it that I've discovered these processes, but the process has also supported the change in my own consciousness and how I listen and hold myself with love and care, and how I listen to others and finding the thing that really matters. And one of the things that I know that we do in this movement, we say, we are one. How many of you said it? We're one, right? So how come it is when we have conflicting challenges, when we have disagreements, we get stuck? What I've found is that there's a way to experience that oneness. And it's this process. And my invitation to you is, if you're interested in finding this in yourself, the 18 inches down to your heart, and finding this in others, I want to invite you to these workshops. There's going to be 2 of them in the coming, in May. One is on a Thursday?
On a Wednesday.
Wednesday, and then we have one on a Saturday. They're about 4 hours. And I want to invite you through this process because we have such an extraordinary opportunity ahead of us. Like what's happening right now, Reverend Denise just said it. Like we're being called to a higher thing. So how do we get there when we're stuck? This is an opportunity in this work that I have found, and I'm just going to share. I am no guru, but I am changed, and I can share with this from you, from my heart, because it's changed me. So I want to invite you to come. All that's required is an open mind. You can come skeptical. That's okay. Just come. I'm going to bring some neuroscience into this too, because I've had a fascination with neuroscience and how it contributes to our connection or disconnection. So there's a little science for it, and there's some processes, and there'll be a lot of engaging work and a little play. So I want to invite you, if you feel called, to come. This is a great way to start to find your heart and what matters to others before we go into these town hall meetings. So is that what we're looking for?
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you all.
And so those of you that stay for the town hall meeting today, we will be talking a little bit more about that and dates. After that in May, then in June, we're going to be doing the work that I was talking about that I did for myself. We're going to do it for ourselves and for this spiritual community. Who are we? Why are we here? What are we doing? How do we do it more effectively and better? And so I want you to close your eyes for just a moment. And I want you to breathe. That which I seek is seeking me. That which belongs to me will come to me. since it is my desire that only good and truth and love and joy and peace and wisdom shall go from me, I know that that is all that will come back to me. I know that the power of this living Spirit exists at the center of my being. And I know that the presence and the power and the activity of this Spirit is in and around me. And I know that the laws are perfect and they're operating through me. I know there's one mind. I know that there is no fear in this mind, and that there is no thought of want or lack or limitation, and this mind is flowing through me now. And so in this now moment, think of what your life can be if you show up happy. Think of what this center can be as we show up in love and joy and peace. There is nothing to stop us. We are just on a trip together. And the divine GPS is leading us in the right direction now. And so we release these truths, thanking the Spirit that created each of us for not only our experience here on this earth, but the experience of our collective group here together. And we say together, and so it is.
Let's give our speaker another hand. Reverend Denise Williams, you are amazing. Now it's time to give back to that which serves us. If something has touched you today, there are many ways you can share the love with us, and we're grateful for your offering. I would like to ask our ushers to please come forward now. We also have a few other ways we can accept your gifts. You can use a credit card in our bookstore, or on our online viewers, please make a contribution using the link in the description below. Please say with me, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Thank you for your loving gifts.
Did you say something?
What's that?
I have no idea. All right, here we go. Let's have some fun. 1, 2, 3.
Paradise to put up a parking lot with a boutique, a pink hotel, and a swinging hot spot. Don't it always seem to go that you don't you took away my old man. 3, 4, don't always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone. Leave paradise, I put in the parking lot. Leave paradise, I put in the parking lot. The paradise, I put in the parking lot.
Oh, we are having such a great time today. And we'd like to thank our speaker, Reverend Dee, and we'd like to thank our band and our musician for today, Lisa Firestone. And I am so grateful for everyone who made this service today happen. I know their service is an act of absolute love, and we thank them. Most importantly, I'd like to give a special thanks to all of you. Community is what makes CLSN so special. Now, for a few announcements. Our annual meeting will be held this afternoon, right after service. Refreshments are there provided by our hospitality team. We ask that you do not bring food or drink, even water, into the sanctuary. So after a short break, we'll start the meeting at 1:15. Those of you watching online, stand by and rejoin us on YouTube. You will be hearing more about how we can build community and reimagine CSLN at the annual meeting, but we wanted to point out the dates of some events related to that so you can mark your calendars. We will be offering a workshop titled Empathetic Listening, Building Bridges, facilitated by Lisa Firestone, on Thursday, May 16th, and Saturday, May 18th, at the Unity, Nashville, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And there are 2 more community conversations scheduled for Saturday, June 1st, from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., and Sunday, June 9th, from 1:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Join us in the annual meeting and check your newsletters for details. We also like to announce that David Jester, CPA, has agreed to do our treasurer. Thank you, David, for helping our community. And if you would like to volunteer to assist our community once a month, please sign up to be a greeter or an usher or hospitality hostess by emailing our office manager. And if you like any other details regarding the announcements, you can find them in our newsletter or on our website. Now, we'd like to thank our speaker again and move into seeing what else is possible. We close our service and would like to invite anyone visiting for the first time. We invite you to sign our visitors list and join us in the fellowship hall because we'd like to say hello and give you a CSLN welcome. And if our warm, welcoming presence is not enough to entice you to come to the fellowship hall, we also have a little something to eat, everyone here at the center. Now, if you're watching online, you might miss out on some of the fun, but you can subscribe by giving us a thumbs up. I would now like to invite all our practitioners and our speakers to come forward. And if there's something heavy on your heart, or if there's something that your heart desires, please don't leave here today without allowing us the honor of assisting you. And if you have a health issue or something's troubling you and you want to attract a new career, more abundance, harmony with your family, please ask one of these professionals at the front to pray for you as soon as the service is over. Or you can fill out a prayer request form and put it in the secure box on the table in the hallway left in the lobby. And if you're watching online, please go to our website under practitioners and contact them. Now, if we would all sit up and take a deep breath and get centered, I will do the closing treatment. And you could say it to yourself in first person, or you can make it personable to yourself. Breathe in and breathe again and relax. See with loving eyes. Listen with unstoppable love. God is all there is. And I am one with one power, one mind. I invite you to open up to spiritual awakening for a healing and a transforming, revealing. Take a breath. Let's move to the heart of the matter and surrender to infinite love, allowing this boundless presence to elevate our vibration and move forward with clear intentions, clarity of our divine ability to change every sacred moment. Everything is changeable. Breathe. You are now in the heart of God, with God's loving arms freely, divinely supporting you, directing you. You are a magnet for love. And in this sacred experience, you are attracting all that you desire, and you welcome new vision, fresh and new, illuminating change for yourself. Your dreams are now coming true. CSLN in this community, our dreams are coming true. And for the best and the highest good, step by step, moment by moment, we're creating that sacred space for a mystical change. And with deepest love and appreciation, I release my word to a law that knows exactly how to make things happen even greater than our imagination. And I say, thank you, Spirit, thank you, Spirit, thank you that it is so. And together we say, and so it is.
All right, let's stand and sing our closing song. We may have lyrics. Do we have lyrics? Lyrics? We've got them.
This program is a service of the Center for Spiritual Living Nashville. May your life be filled with joy and prosperity in every way. Learn more about our programs or contact one of our practitioners at our website, cslnashville.org. You may also want to follow us on Facebook at CSLNASH. You can make a big difference with your financial gift at lovecsln.com. Please share the link to this program with a friend and join us again next Sunday. Have a wonderful week.